D, wait for it, Lightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds, and welcome to my week in review, where I come to you every Sunday with 3 entertainment stories that I personally find interesting, and then we discuss them down below. Now, also down below, you can find the articles that I read to bring you this video, and you can read those, and come up with your own opinion, or just watch this video where I break them all down for you and everything, and all that good stuff. Before I get started, though, I just want to say that if you like what I do here and you enjoy independent content here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. YouTube is always changing up their algorithm, and small channels like mine, we always get pushed to the back of the line. So please ask that you like, share, and subscribe, and I thank you in advance. So why don't we go ahead and get started? So for my first story of this week, it looks like Gotham Knights is in the works over at the CW. Now, the Batwoman team is behind it, and talk about failing upwards, you guys. I don't know if you watch Batwoman, but it is freaking awful. It has horrible ratings, so I don't understand how this team got their hands on doing this, this whole thing. But what are you gonna do? Now, this isn't necessarily the writing team, and it's just the people that run the show, and they're looking to further build their DC Comics programming and everything. So they're doing the Gotham Knights, and I'll explain what the Gotham Knights is and everything. So it's executive producers Chad Fivosh, James Stoutro, and the show's executive story editor Natalie Abrams. Now, like I said before, I don't. Batwoman's awful, so I don't know if these 3 individuals, if they hire better writers, then it could be a good show. We'll see and everything. And I'll get into a little bit more on that. So this is coming from Greg Berlanti's production company, Berlanti Productions and everything. And it will be, then they're behind the CW Arrowverse and everything. But it will be written by Abrams, Fivosh, and Stotro. I don't know how to say his those 2 dudes. I don't know how to say their names. So Gotham Knights is based on Gotham Knights characters from the DC Comics created by Bob Kane and Bill Finger. Now, in the wake of Bruce Wayne's murder, his rebellious adopted son forges an unlikely alliance with the children of Batman's enemies when they are all framed for killing the Cape Crusader. And as the city's most wanted criminals, the renegade band of misfits must fight to clear their names. But in a Gotham with no Dark Knight to protect it, the city descends into the most dangerous it's ever been. However, hope comes from the most unexpected of places, as this team of mismatched fugitives will become its next generation of saviors, known as the Gotham Knights. Now, I have to say, 2 things. The first thing is, I hope Batwoman is nowhere near this freaking show, because that, like I said before, that show's awful. I cover that show. You guys can check out all that stuff up there in the iCard section, but the show's awful. The writing is god awful. Everything about it, it's just awful. It's a bad show. No good whatsoever. Now, they could turn a page and go in the Superman and Lois route, where the writing is good and everything else is good. And this is a solid idea. I mean, it's got a game coming out, the Gotham Knights, and I think that looks good. And like I said, this is a solid idea. I think that this could be good. They're, like I said, failing upward. These executive producers and this head writing editor or story editor, they're failing upwards because Batwoman's awful. But we'll see if this turns out to be good or not. I'm not going to hold my breath. But I mean, if it is good for them, I want nothing but good things for people, but I'm not gonna hold my breath for it to be good. I'm just not gonna do it. I don't know. We'll see, but I will watch the first episode to see if it ends up to be good or not. So that is my first story of the day, a week. The second story of the week is, so Netflix is making a live action Mega Man movie. Now, Mega Man is a video game, if you didn't know that. It came out in 1987. It's from Capcom, and this isn't the only video game movie that we've seen before. And recently, we got Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which is the sequel to Sonic the Hedgehog. Like Sonic the Hedgehog, we're getting the new Halo series, or is that a movie? I think it's a movie. It doesn't matter. We're getting Halo, and then we're also getting Mario coming out, in a little while. But that's starring Chris Pratt as the voice of Mario, and we're also getting Uncharted, which stars Tom Holland. Now, I've never played, Uncharted or Halo, but I played Sonic back in the day when it was on Sega Genesis, and then I have played some Mario games and everything. Now, this is being written and directed by Henry Joost and Rel Schalman. I hope I said their names right. If not, sorry. And they recently did Paranormal Activity, and they also did for Netflix Project Power. So this has no release date as of yet. And like I said before, so Mega Man, or known as Rockman in Japan, is a Japanese science fiction video game franchise created by Capcom, as I mentioned before. This is a series of robot characters, each known by the moniker Mega Man. The original video game was released for the Nintendo Entertainment System in 1987 and spawned a franchise that expanded to over 50 games on multiple systems. Which very impressive. Now, who is Mega Man and everything? Mega Man's role in the original story was to be an assistant to his creator, Dr. Light. When Light's colleague goes mad, Dr. Light repurposes Mega Man to battle the mad scientist, Dr. Willy, and his ever-growing army of robots, and stop them from taking over the planet by using their own special abilities against them. Utilizing his Mega Buster arm cannon and his ability to copy the special weapons of the boss robots he defeats, Mega Man must travel the world and traverse harsh environments in order to bring Willy's menace to an end. With the help of his creator, Dr. Light, and his assorted cybernetic companions, Mega Man's eventual goal is to one day achieve everlasting peace for both humans and robots. Now, I have to say, I did play Mega Man back in the day, but I don't know if it was Mega Man 1 or, Mega Man X or whatever they are called now. I have to say, as far as this goes, I don't know if Netflix should do this stuff. Recently, they did Cowboy Bebop. It's an anime, not a video game. But I just don't know if they're capable of pulling this off. I mean, maybe they are when it comes to a movie instead of a series, but I'm just not going to hold my breath on this one either. I just think that Netflix has like a choppy, history and everything. I mean, Project Power was all right. I mean, it wasn't the best in the world, but I mean, I'm trying to think of a video game movie that they did do, but I can't. And, usually video game movies aren't that good. I mean, like I said, Sonic the Hedgehog was good, and all those other three that I mentioned haven't come out yet. But I mean, like, you have to look at all the other video game movies that have turned out terrible. And I mean, if you weigh the good and the bad is winning right now as far as video game movies go. So we'll see how it turns out. And like I said, I'll probably watch. I mean, maybe they should have done an animated movie instead of a live action one. But again, I'll watch it because it's a movie. So only 2 hours of my time, unlike a Cowboy Bebop, which was like 8 hours of my time, which I only watched the first episode. But yeah, as far as the series goes compared to a movie, it's definitely takes up less time. So that is my second story of this week. So for my third and final story of the week. Okay, so the Goonies remake is headed to Disney Plus, sort of. Let me explain. Okay, so it's called a reenactment project. Now, this was originally a pilot for Fox, and it is written by Sarah Watson. And the title for it is called Our Time. And if you remember in the Goonies, Our Time, when he gives that, he's like, it's our time down here. Down here, it's our time, or whatever he says. It's a very good line and everything. I just can't remember what it was. And if you've ever watched the Goonies, I love the Goonies, you guys. That movie is like such a classic. It still holds up, in my opinion. It's so good. I love everything about that movie. It's got booby traps. It's got romance. It's got, bad people. What are they called? Like, they're not mobsters, but what is the name of the family? The two sons and the mom. God, they were so good. And you got Sloth's great. Yeah, I love that movie so much. It's so good and everything. So So, what is this movie about? So, here is the synopsis about this movie, and it's centered on Stella Cooper, a woman who fled back to her hometown after failing to make anything of herself in New York. Upon taking a job as a substitute teacher, her inspiration is rekindled once she meets three students with the dream of recreating the Goonies in its entirety. She agrees to help them make this undertaking a reality, recapturing every iconic shot and line with amateur acting and storytelling of home movie. Originally Superbad director Greg Matola was connected to this project, but it's unclear if he's still on to direct it now. Now, like I said, this is being developed. It was being developed at Fox, and then the article talks about how shows will be made for one studio or will be in development at one studio, but then it falls short and another studio will pick it up. They bring up Manifest on Netflix, for instance. It was a part of, I can't remember what studio that was from, but it got canceled and then Netflix picked it up. The Expanse, which I'm covering also, but that show, that was on Sci-Fi, that got dropped, and then Amazon picked it up. It's so good. Lucifer, I think Lucifer jumped like two or three different places, or jumped twice or whatnot. Can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, so it talked about how this was being developed at Fox, and then COVID happened. They got a pilot ready. They read through the pilot. Everything was set to go. And then COVID happened and it got shut down. And then after Fox, they just weren't going to do anything with it. And then Disney picked it up. Now, it's called a reenactment project. Now, what does that mean? Now, I would liken this to High School, the musical. Now, if you watch that show on Disney Plus, it's basically like, in that show, the High School, the musical, those three movies are movies in there. And these kids, they make High School, the musical in the school where High School, the musical was filmed in. So it's very meta in that way. And I don't know if this is the right choice for this project, but I'll get into that in just a second. So no cast members have been unveiled, yet, but it will be interesting to see who they cast in this, to say the least. I'm very interested to see if they maybe bring back some of the original cast members for this, but I mean, I don't know. But I have to be honest with you, I'm not interested in this at all. I like nostalgia just because this will definitely bring back my childhood memories and watching this movie and loving this movie. I still love this movie. But the problem is, it's this reenactment thing. It's just, I don't think this is a good idea. I don't think, just leave it alone. I mean, maybe, I don't even know if I'm interested in a sequel for this. I mean, I kind of am interested in a sequel just because it'd be kind of fun to see where the Goonies are and what they would do and all that stuff. But if it's not a sequel, I'm not even kind of interested in this. I won't even watch it. I don't care. It's nothing that interests me in any way, shape, or form, especially because it sounds freaking awful from this synopsis and everything. And like I said, I'm not interested. And I'm not interested. Oh, those are my three stories of this week. You guys tell me, what do you guys think about all this? How do you feel about Gotham Knights being developed for the CW, and being headed up by those executive producers from Batwoman? Do you think this will be good? Do you think this will be kind of good? Do you think it's good, but if they don't bring the writers from Batwoman over to this show? Do you think it's got a good premise? Are you going to play the video game? All that good stuff. And then how do you feel about Mega Man getting a live action movie adaptation over at Netflix? Do you think this is a good idea to adapt Mega Man? Do you think a video game movie is what the world really needs right now? Another one? And do you think Netflix is really the place to be doing this at? I mean, yeah, they spend the money, but do they spend enough money? And then finally, how do you feel about this Goonies reenactment project? Do you think this sounds good? Do you watch High School, the musical, or and do you think that this is something you're interested in? Do you love the Goonies? Who's your favorite Goonie? Yeah, you can go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. You know, I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys next week on my week in review. You guys have a good week. Bye.
Hey nerds, if you like this video, go ahead and click that Geek What icon and subscribe. And if you like this video, go ahead and join me every Sunday with my week in review.